Hi, this is RadFXSat, amateur radio satellite Fox 1B.
Hello everyone, and a special welcome to AMSAT members. If you are not an AMSAT member, please consider joining AMSAT to help keep amateur radio in space. You can visit us at the website www.amsat.org. I'm going to talk a little bit today about AO-91. AO-91 was launched on November 18th and commissioned on Thanksgiving Day, and I have a little bit of audio from that commissioning and one of the first contacts made.
AO-91 is commissioned. I'll hand it over to AMSAT Ops, and you can take it from there. This is N0JY.
Roger that. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce that Fox 1 Baker Alpha Oscar 91 is now open and available for amateur use.
Yeah, QSL, this is November Juliet 4 Yankee. Appreciate all the work you did. I am into it using a D72 and a whip right now.
Oh, you sound awesome.
And there you go. NJ4Y, as you heard, one of the first contacts, and he was using an HT with an aftermarket whip antenna, the kind that you can typically find and many people have. So that's a good testament to how well AO-91 is functioning. Let's talk a little bit about that. There have been some rumors that there were some changes made to the audio processing with AO-91. This is not true. As a matter of fact, everything that you are hearing relies upon the fix to the receive antenna. As you know, AO-85, the receive antenna broke just prior to environmental testing. This was a bad time to have that happen. There's really never a good time, but perhaps a worse time then, because everything was set and ready to go. It was really ready for flight, save the environmental testing. So we had to come up with a solution that was quick and good and didn't violate the satellite. In other words, we did not have to disassemble it, and that would require us to do some more testing. What we did was used conductive epoxy. This picture shows gray epoxy. That was actually applied over the conductive epoxy, but that's what was used to reattach the receive antenna. Once upon orbit, when we discovered that it was not as sensitive as it should be, as we did our troubleshooting, we looked back and figured that the likely cause was that the conductive epoxy actually overlapped some of the areas on the PCB and caused the antenna to be greatly detuned. We've made a change to the way that we do the antenna attachment, and the new method, as you can see, requires a staple, and then the antenna, the nitinol wire is soldered. It has a little bit of wire wrap around it in order to provide more solder area. That made a big difference, and with AO-91, as I said, all of the improvement is through the fact that the receive antenna works the way it should. So what you're hearing is the way the Fox 1 satellites were designed to function as an easy sat, and as a matter of fact, I think we exceeded that expectation with the ability to work the satellite, of course, when it's not crowded, with an HT and a whip, and power is reported as low as 100 milliwatts. So, I've got a little bit more to discuss about some of the fun that we had with AO-91. As we look at this presentation, I've got some of the slides, some of the information that was presented at the Mission Readiness Review. The Mission Readiness Review is held with NASA, TIVAC, and Cal Poly, where we discuss all of the aspects of the satellite to show that it is ready for flight, as well as one of the things they want to know are any significant anomalies that we encountered in the project. So the first to be noted, at our initial attempt at the day in the life test, we found that there was a short on one of the antenna burn resistor circuits. The day in the life test is a test that's required by the launch provider in order to demonstrate that the satellite, upon being ejected from the P-pod when it comes alive, will not make any transmissions or deploy anything, which in our case is antennas, for a minimum of 45 minutes after it is deployed. In order to satisfy that, we run it through a test as if it had just been deployed, but we take it beyond that to the point where it actually does deploy the antennas and then transmit, because we having proved that we do meet that requirement, now want to prove to ourselves that the deploy will work as it was supposed to. In this case, it did not. And there's a little bit of video here. If you can hear it, there are some low beeps followed by one high beep, at which point I'll say that. And that's when the antenna, the transmit antenna, should have deployed. But it didn't.
High tone. Well, I heard a high tone for a second. But then that, what the hell did I hear? You think I'm hearing things?
And as you heard, there was a bit of confusion because we were not seeing the transmit antenna deploy. As I said, it turned out to be a short in the transmit antenna burn resistor circuit. As we disassembled the satellite and took a look, having figured that out, we found that the short had actually fried the deploy switch transistor, which passes the current to the resistor in order to produce enough heat to burn the antenna. Here's a close-up view. You can see that the transistor is well fried, as well as some of the circuits, some of the filtering that is on the bus line circuits for that. So we sent that off to Bob Davis, our mechanical engineer, for disassembly. He reassembled it using the IHU flight spare. And as we proceeded to test that, we found that there was an open in the receive antenna deploy circuit. That was not discovered, of course, during the day in the life, because the day in the life didn't proceed past the transmit antenna deploy. In fact, the short caused the IHU to reset, which is why I continued to hear low tones, because it went back to the beginning of that 50-minute timer cycle. The open that was now preventing the receive antenna from deploying was determined to be on the MPPT power supply board, so we replaced that with the flight spare. It's an interesting note that the MPPT board is assembled by a commercial vendor, because we did that due to the parts density on that in order to take advantage of their ability with much tighter parts placement. So we replaced the MPPT. The flight unit came back to Fox Labs, and we were able to do a little bit more testing, at which point I found out that the transmitter kept transmitting after I was done saying something. The hang timer, as you may know, is supposed to stop after 60 seconds, and then the transmitter goes off the air until it detects another valid signal with the 67 hertz tone. That wasn't happening. And as I did some closer looking, it was determined that there was a birdie on the receive that was actually holding it open, so it was keeping the transmitter keyed up. This was not related to the problems that we had with the IHU and the antenna deploys and the MPPT. So we disassembled it one more time, sent the receiver off to Dan Habecker. Dan has done a lot of work in the assembly of the transmitter and receiver. He determined that there was a component under the shield, which you see here. So he had to remove the shield and found it to have a bad solder joint. He fixed that and then tested it and reassembled the entire receiver in a matter of a couple of days. Due to our time schedule, that was necessary and also a very good effort on his part. That was sent to Bob Davis, who again reassembled the flight unit one more time. The flight unit came back to Fox Labs, and we did another, and this being the official day in the life, that it passed. But after doing so, I discovered that the transmit power was low. This was seen through the PA current readings. It was about half what it would normally be. We held another discussion about that, and it was determined that the transmission line being open or shorted was one possibility for that PA reading. The PA is designed to handle just about anything from opens to shorts, because if the antenna is stowed, we do want it to be able to transmit as well as it can so that we can detect that from Earth and find out through the telemetry what might be going on if the antenna didn't deploy. So I removed the -Z solar panel, and you can see where the coax comes out of the transmitter and connects to the -Y solar panel to the transmit antenna. That had simply come disconnected. So I reconnected it, reseated the Kapton tape to help hold the connection in there, and that was taken care of. All of our readings were normal again. But at this point, we had to go through the process of talking with TIVAC, which is our auxiliary payload integration contractor that NASA hires for the mission, the Alana 14 mission in this case, in order to verify with them that we did not violate the day in the life test, which would have been so had we changed software or done any changes to the circuits that do the antenna deploy. They were convinced that what we had done here by simply removing the -Z solar panel and plugging the coax again did not violate that, and off we go. We were able to go to environmental testing and finish out rad effectsat, Fox 1B, now known as AO-91. So, that's the short story of some of the fun that we had with AO-91 getting it in the air. So it's working very fine, but it took a little bit of tweaking to get it there. And that's been the case with most of the Fox satellites. They all have something to offer. The CubeSats are notorious for Murphy. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and always at the last moment. So I hope you appreciated this video, and I look forward to doing more. If you did appreciate it, if you notice in the upper right corner of the screen, there is an information icon that appeared toward the beginning of the video. Please consider making a donation to AMSAT. Every dollar counts and goes toward supporting the satellite projects. Once again, 7-3, thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.